Have you ever felt haunted by someone's presence in your mind? Not the fleeting kind that disappears with a good night's sleep, but the kind that follows you everywhere. In your dreams, in random songs, in the faces of strangers passing by. That one person who's become a permanent resident in your consciousness, making you question your own sanity. Here's the thing. Carl Jung, one of history's most profound psychoanalysts, believed this wasn't just your mind playing tricks. In fact, he discovered something far more extraordinary, that this obsession might be the single most important message your unconscious mind is trying to send you. But before you dismiss this as just another psychological theory, consider this. Jung found that these recurring thoughts are actually connected to an ancient pattern, one that's been documented across every culture, every civilization, throughout human history. And understanding this pattern, it could be the key to unlocking not just why you can't stop thinking about them, but also the hidden aspects of yourself you've been blind to your entire life. What I'm about to share with you isn't just Jung's theory. It's backed by decades of clinical research, thousands of case studies, and most importantly, a revolutionary understanding of how your mind actually works. An understanding that most modern psychologists aren't even aware of. In the next few minutes, you're going to discover why this person keeps appearing in your thoughts, what it reveals about your deepest unconscious patterns, and most importantly, how to transform this mental obsession into one of the most powerful tools for personal transformation you've ever encountered. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at your thoughts or that person the same way again. This is where things get interesting. Jung discovered that your mind operates like a vast underground network. Think of it like the internet's dark web, but for your consciousness. The surface level, what you're aware of right now, that's just your browser history. But deep beneath, there's an ocean of hidden connections, repressed memories, and ancient patterns that are constantly influencing your thoughts. Jung called this the collective unconscious. Imagine it as humanity's shared psychological DNA, carrying wisdom accumulated over thousands of years. And when someone becomes stuck in your thoughts, they've actually triggered a connection to this deeper realm. But here's what modern psychology gets wrong. They treat these obsessive thoughts as something to suppress, medicate, or ignore. Jung found the exact opposite. These thoughts are actually your mind's most sophisticated GPS system, pointing you toward crucial aspects of yourself that demand attention. Let me give you an example that might hit close to home. Sarah, one of Jung's patients, couldn't stop thinking about a colleague who seemed to have everything she wanted: confidence, success, and an effortless way with people. Traditional therapy told her she was just envious, but Jung discovered something far more profound. This obsession was actually her psyche's way of showing her what she needed to integrate into her own life. This leads us to Jung's most groundbreaking discovery, the principle of psychological magnetism. According to this principle, the people who occupy our thoughts most persistently aren't random targets of our attention. They're actually mirrors reflecting the most crucial aspects of our psyche trying to emerge into consciousness. And this is just the surface level of what Jung uncovered. Because what happens next in this process of psychological magnetism is where things get really fascinating. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds great in theory, but how does this actually apply to my situation? Let me stop you right there, because what I'm about to share completely transformed how I understand these persistent thoughts. Remember how I mentioned Jung's psychological magnetism? Well, he discovered that this magnetism operates through 4 distinct channels in your psyche. Each one reveals a different layer of why this person has such a powerful hold on your mind. And here's the kicker. Understanding these channels doesn't just explain why you're thinking about them. It gives you the exact blueprint for turning this obsession into your greatest catalyst for growth. But before we dive into these 4 channels, I need to show you something that most people completely miss about their obsessive thoughts. Something so fundamental that once you see it, you'll understand why traditional advice about just letting go or moving on not only doesn't work, it actually makes things worse. Key 1. The mirror principle, projection. Jung discovered that when someone occupies your thoughts, they're actually activating what he called your projection mechanism. Think of it like a sophisticated psychological hologram. Every quality that magnetizes you to them, whether it's their confidence, creativity, or even the things that irritate you, is actually a part of yourself that's either underdeveloped or unacknowledged. Here's where it gets fascinating. Jung found that these projections work in two directions. Let's say you're obsessed with someone's artistic talent. One of two things is happening. Either you're suppressing your own creative abilities, or you're witnessing a preview of your own potential. This is why the people who trigger the strongest reactions in us, positive or negative, are often our greatest teachers. The key breakthrough happens when you realize that every trait you fixate on in them is actually a message about your own psyche. That person who seems impossibly confident, they're not just confident, they're showing you your own untapped confidence. That's why you can't stop thinking about them. Your unconscious mind is literally using them as a living, breathing advertisement for parts of yourself that need integration. Key 2. Unconscious attraction, Anima Animus. Now we enter the realm of what Jung called the Anima and Animus, your psyche's internal masculine and feminine energies. This goes way deeper than physical attraction. Jung discovered that when someone becomes a persistent thought, they're often embodying your soul's complementary energy. Think about it. Have you noticed how this person often represents qualities that feel both familiar and mysterious? That's because they're activating your internal opposite. Your anima if you're male, your animus if you're female. This isn't just about gender. It's about psychological completion. Jung documented thousands of cases where people became obsessed with others who embodied their unrealized psychological potential. It's like your psyche is showing you a movie of your own internal marriage waiting to happen. This is why these thoughts feel so powerful. They're not just about the other person. They're about your own psychological wholeness trying to emerge. Key 3. Shadow integration. The shadow is where things get really interesting. Jung found that the people who trigger our strongest obsessions often connect to our shadow, the parts of ourselves we've rejected, denied, or never developed. But here's the revolutionary part. Your shadow isn't just your dark side, it's also your unlived light. When someone keeps appearing in your thoughts, they're often embodying aspects of your shadow that are crucial for your evolution. Maybe they live with a freedom you've denied yourself. Maybe they express emotions you've learned to suppress. Your obsession isn't random, it's your shadow demanding integration. Jung discovered that these shadow projections are actually your fastest path to psychological growth. Every time you think about this person, you're being shown a piece of your shadow that's ready to be acknowledged and integrated. This is why trying to stop thinking about them never works. You're fighting against your own evolution. Key 4. Synchronicity Signs. Here's where Jung's discoveries become truly mind-bending. He found that persistent thoughts about someone often correlate with what he called synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that defy logical explanation. You think about them, and suddenly they appear. Their name shows up everywhere. You have dreams about them that seem prophetic. Jung proved these weren't just coincidences. Through extensive research, he showed that these synchronicities are actually your psyche creating a bridge between your inner and outer worlds. They're signs that this person is playing a crucial role in your individuation process, your journey to becoming your complete self. The fascinating part? These synchronicities often increase in frequency and intensity until you understand and integrate the lesson this person represents. Your obsessive thoughts aren't the problem. They're actually breadcrumbs leading you to profound psychological transformation. Now that you understand the 4 keys, let's transform this knowledge into practical action. Here's the exact process Jung developed for decoding and utilizing these persistent thoughts. Step 1. The mirror exercise. Take out a journal and list 5 specific qualities about this person that constantly draw your attention. For each quality, ask yourself, where is this quality dormant in my own life? Write down specific situations where you could embody these qualities. Step 2. Shadow integration protocol. Identify the aspects of this person that trigger strong emotional reactions. Ask yourself, what would I be like if I allowed myself to express these qualities? Create small daily practices to gradually integrate these aspects. Step 3. The Synchronicity Journal document. Every coincidence related to this person. Look for patterns in when these synchronicities occur. Notice what life areas these signs are pointing you toward. But here's the most powerful revelation. Jung discovered that once you start this process, something remarkable happens. The obsessive thoughts begin to transform. Instead of feeling trapped by them, you'll start experiencing what Jung called active imagination, where these thoughts become tools for profound self-discovery. Remember, this person isn't randomly stuck in your head. They're there as your guide to parts of yourself waiting to be discovered. Every thought about them is a doorway to greater self-understanding. Every moment of obsession is actually an invitation to evolution. The question isn't, how do I stop thinking about them? The real question is, what parts of myself am I ready to discover through these thoughts? Because in the end, the person living rent-free in your mind isn't your tormentor, they're your teacher. And the obsession that's been haunting you, it's actually the map to your transformation. Start this process today. Your obsessive thoughts aren't a problem to solve. They're a gift waiting to be unwrapped. And now you have the exact tools to unwrap it.